this video, we visit Prague as a family. Join us as there are 20 different things that we absolutely love about this town. And at the end of this video, there are 2 things that we didn't care so much for. Italy, Germany, France, step aside. I'll explain why Prague turned out to be one of our favorite stops in all of Europe. Let's start off with the crown jewel of the city, and that is the Charles Bridge. The Charles Bridge spans the Vltava River. Built in 1357, it's a magnificent stone bridge over 1,600 feet long. It's over 515 meters. It's a pedestrian bridge. There's no vehicles, but on any given day, it's going to be crowded with tourists and street vendors. During the summer season, you'll find buskers and caricature artists lining almost the entire span of the bridge. The bridge is known for its famous statues. Most are Catholic saints, and they all have got a unique story. Most famously is that of the Czech martyr Jon of Nepomuk, known as Saint John. He refused to divulge the Queen's confessional and was ultimately thrown off the bridge to drown. And he was immediately recognized by the Catholic Church as a martyr and ultimately a saint. Now, if you're in Prague for a few days, you're undoubtedly going to cross the bridge a number of different times, but make sure at least once to go up the Old Town Bridge Tower, where you get the most impressive view and you can see what the bridge looks like from above. Next up, plan to spend the better part of a day at the Prague Castle. This isn't just some medieval fortress that you can tour in 30 minutes. It's an enormous complex on one of the tallest hills in the city. This is the largest ancient castle complex in the entire world. There are dozens of buildings to see, including the St. Vitus Cathedral and the Vladislav Hall. You can gaze up at the stained glass windows, admire some medieval artwork, or check out the Bohemian crown jewels. While you're here, make sure to check out Golden Lane. It's part of the Prague Castle complex. And this is a picturesque lane with colorful houses, very small houses, that was inhabited by the guardians and goldsmiths of the Prague Castle. It was occupied all the way until World War II. Next up is the Petrin Gardens, which is about a 15-minute walk from the Prague Castle. There's a lot to do here. You can capture an amazing view of the city. You can go up the Petrin Tower, which is kind of like a mini Eiffel Tower. We elected to go through the Mirror Maze, which is a lot of fun. Not completely novel. There are other places with mirror mazes, but this one is well done, and the kids just love this. If you were going to rank the most beautiful town squares in all of Europe, Old Town Prague has to be on that list. In fact, it might even be the top spot. With the Baroque architecture, the Gothic cathedrals, this is a place you absolutely don't want to miss. Even if you're only here for one day, plan to spend a little time at Old Town Square. Through a bit of luck, we ended up with some accommodations that looked out right over the town square, and it was a pleasure every morning just to look out the window and then come down onto the plaza. The statue that is at the center of the town square is of Jon Hus. He was an early reformer, was actually burned at the stake, but he's kind of become a national hero, and this is a gorgeous statue that pays tribute to him. Located right at the town square is the Old Town Hall that features the Prague Astronomical Clock. This is the oldest continually running astronomical clock in the world. It's been going since 1410. A lot of cool, intricate designs, and every hour on the hour, this clock goes off, a crowd gathers, and you watch as the doors above the clock open, and you see the statues of the 12 apostles appear in order. Here in Prague with my daughter Sarah. We're walking around at night, and isn't this town beautiful at night?
Yeah.
It is. All the buildings are lit up. What was right behind us here, sweetie?
It's a clock. Every hour it goes off.
Yeah, the astronomical clock you can see kind of right behind us here. And it goes off, and we saw it go off earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, fun. And then this way, let's look. We got a cathedral behind us here, don't we? And this is pretty during the day. We sat and ate some food and whatnot, but at night it just brights up and shines, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to see in the evening time.
Yeah.
We really love the food in Prague. Coming from Italy with all the Italian cuisine, it was refreshing to try something different. Goulash is a popular dish. You're looking at it here, and it's lathered with this dark gravy and bread dumplings. Very different than the American-style goulash. A lot of tasty meat dishes in the Czech Republic. We really love the Bohemian fare. Had a lot of delicious pork, including Old Prague Ham, which is popular. Now, this might be a little bit more of a touristy type of dish, but right in the town square, they have this rotisserie cooking up this ham, this glazed ham, and it was delicious, and you can get it, just eat it right out there on the street. In Prague for several days, and we did not have a bad meal. All the restaurants we went to were really good, including this little breakfast restaurant that served delicious pancakes. Now, one thing I will mention, you are expected to tip in Prague. Usually a modest tip of about 10% is expected if you're a tourist. This is different than other places in Europe where you're really not expected to tip at all, so keep that in mind. One cool little place that's worth a visit is the John Lennon Wall. This is only a few minutes walk from the end of the Charles Bridge on the lesser town side. That's the opposite side of the old town. So it's the same side as the Prague Castle. And this is not going to take you too long to see, but it's a shrine dedicated to John Lennon. It has some song lyrics. There's probably some music playing in the background. There's some cool graffiti you can look at. Definitely worth a stop, especially if you love the Beatles. If you want to capture the best view of Prague, I recommend Letná Park. This is on the lesser town side, and you've got to just walk up the hill. But the view here is fantastic because you get a great overlook of all of the bridges. You can capture some great photographs. If you time it right and come in the evening, the lights start to turn on, and Prague really shines at night, and you capture the view with the lights on. It's even better. There are a lot of small memorials in Prague, statues and monuments that pay respect and tribute, particularly those that died or fought during World War II. This one is dedicated to those who fought in the resistance, and it's located just in a little spot on the lesser town side, but certainly worth visiting if you're in the area. You definitely want to check out the outdoor markets when you're visiting Prague. This is called the Havel Market. It is a permanent market, but there are weekend markets as well. You go at Christmas season and there's Christmas markets. We picked up some delicious treats, including this marzipan snack the kids loved. A lot of tourist things for sale at the market as well. Definitely check it out. The Franz Kafka Museum is another famous attraction. Not for everybody, but if you know about Franz Kafka or if you love museums, you may want to check it out. The older kids went into the museum. The younger kids, not so much, but everybody kind of got a kick out of this statue of these two guys peeing into the shape of the Czech Republic. The statue is broken, so we didn't get the full effect, but you get the idea. As you're walking around, you may notice things are a little more affordable here in the Czech Republic. Now, they are not on the euro. They use a different currency called the crown. And the exchange is about 25 to 1. That's 25 crowns for $1 US. So you do have to do the conversion and make the exchange. And that exchange rate is continually changing. Also, inflation may play a role now and moving forward. But overall, I think you're going to find this is a more affordable big city than other places in Europe. While you're in Prague, check out the famous dancing house. This is right along the riverfront. It was designed and built in the 1990s by world-famous architect Frank Gehry in collaboration with a Czech architect. It's an incredibly unique design. Originally, it was nicknamed Fred and Ginger after Fred Astaire and Ginger Roberts because it does look like the house has two different sides that are dancing with each other. My understanding is there's not much to see inside, it's just office space, but that doesn't mean you can't have a little fun and dance outside in front of the famous dancing house. One recommendation is to go check out the paddle boats down near the Charles Bridge. We had a fun time as a family. We rented 2 paddle boats, and you can go all the way around a little island. You get spectacular views of the Charles Bridge and the architecture. It's a lot of fun. It's an activity. You can rent these boats for an hour, and that is more than enough time. Of course, if you've got a competitive spirit, you rent a couple of paddle boats, it inevitably turns into a paddle boat race. One thing I love about Prague, it's rare in that everything is so close to the center of the city. You don't need to rent a car, but you don't even need to take a taxi, an Uber, or even get on a train. You just put on a good pair of walking shoes, and everything is close from the Prague Castle to Old Town and back and forth. You're going to find it is so convenient to get around this town, maybe the best walking city in all of Europe. I spent this entire video gushing about Prague. It truly is one of my favorite cities in Europe, and my family would agree. It's a great place to visit. So what don't I like about Prague? Well, one thing is this place, the Strahov Library, which is billed as one of the most beautiful libraries in the world. You pay a fee to go in this place, and your expectation is that you'll be able to walk through and enjoy the beauty of truly one of the most beautiful libraries. Problem is, all they do is let you gaze into the room. You can't even go in. You can't even take pictures. The only reason I have this video is because of my special covert Ray-Ban sunglasses. It's a disappointment. If you can go in the Sistine Chapel, surely they should let you go into the Strahov Library. Even if you can't touch anything, it'd be great to go in here and take a closer look. This next one is going to be controversial. When you walk through Prague, you will be mesmerized by Trdelník, which is a traditional Czech dessert. On a short walk between Old Town Square and Charles Bridge, you will pass by no fewer than a dozen of these places, and it looks amazing. It looks like the Czech people have figured out a way to combine a hot cinnamon roll with delicious ice cream. These cinnamon rolls, or glorified chimney cakes, are oftentimes cooking on a rotisserie right in front of you as you're gazing over the menu. And that's when you realize that these are not cheap. They cost about 150 to 200 crowns, which is the equivalent of $6 to $8. Of course, that's a small price to pay for this authentic Czech deliciousness. Except that's the thing. Trdelníks are good, but they're just not great. On a scale of 1 to 10, they're about a 6.
Do we like a chocolate or a vanilla ice cream?
Chocolate.
I think they're hard to eat and they're pricey for what you get. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, you have to know what to order. Like this one doesn't have the chocolate inside or the strawberries inside.
Yeah, you feel like you're getting...
the point. We got strawberry chocolate Trdelník or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
In the end, over the several days we were in Prague, we tried multiple different variations of Trdelník from multiple different shops, and we came to the same general consensus. It looks a lot better than it tastes. Now, it's not bad, it's worth trying at least once, but in the end, it's hard to eat and kind of messy. Now, I've got to say, Trdelník aside, we loved Prague, one of our favorite cities in all of Europe. There's so much to do here. The whole family loved it, and we hope to come back someday.
Yeah.